You guys have no idea how unbelievably great these 12 cologne fragrances are unless you've tried them. These provide an insane level of accuracy for essentially a dirt cheap price in a lot of these instances. A lot of these are like $40 or less. Some of them are $20 to $30. Also, a lot of these fragrances are clones of things that are either discontinued or very, very expensive, or both. So the fact that you're able to get some of these DNAs into your collection and onto your skin without having to pay a ton of money and go through eBay and try to hunt some things down, it's crazy. I mean, the opportunity that this gives a lot of people these days is insane. Because there was a point in time with quite a few of these more expensive or discontinued fragrances that if you just didn't have it, then you just couldn't experience it. You couldn't smell it. And that sucks, it's just, you see things hyped up, you want to be able to try it, but you can't because it's just out of reach. These solve that problem. So I'm going to drop links to all of these down below. So if you want to be able to pick these up and kind of understand where I'm coming from, just follow those and you're going to be able to get these for some great prices. You can't go out there at retail and buy clones. You have to shop through discounters. All right, we're going to get things kicked off with Fragrance World, the one and only Moonlit Night. Now, if you look at that bottle, you kind of have an understanding of what this one's going to be a clone of. Dolce & Gabbana, the one luminous night. And I've said this before with this one in particular. If I were just to flash this bottle, you would probably not be able to tell right away that it's Fragrance World and not Dolce & Gabbana, the one luminous night. I mean, just doing this, they're just so similar, so close. Also, when you factor in the scent, if you were to smell them side by side, you can tell them apart, but not by a massive amount. I mean, they really nailed this. You get the dates, you get the amber, you get that sweet sandalwood and some of the other tonka bean, sexy, rich notes. It's a little bit smoky. It does have somewhat of a Middle Eastern smell. It really is something that stands out and is unique. And yes, the one luminous night is very hard to get and a bit more expensive than your typical Dolce & Gabbana, the one scents, given that it's an exclusive edition. So you can get this stuff for usually around $40, sometimes a bit less, and you are getting something that is just very close to what they're trying to be close to, which is that Dolce & Gabbana. And it just is something that is unique too. If you're tired of the one eau de parfum and the one gray and just things like that, and you just want something a bit more unique to stand out but still have kind of a sexy, mass-pleasing edge, something like this is going to be right up your alley. And again, a lot of times you have FOMO, fear of missing out. You see things talked about and you can't get it because it's too expensive. That's why they created FOMO Gary's Den. So that's kind of what this clone brand is in a nutshell. Fear of missing out because things are expensive, they're discontinued. Don't have to worry about it here. This is a clone of Dior Homme Parfum. Now, that one's not discontinued. It's just not as readily available in the US, and it's also very expensive. Now, the going rate on that one is around $170-ish and above. Every now and then, it's popped up for $125, and I have a mailing list that you can sign up to, and I notify when things like that happen. You're not going to get that anywhere else. I search the discounters front to back every day, and yeah, Dior Homme Parfum has popped up for $125 before. Lowest price you'll ever get that one for. And of course, it sells out quick. So jump on my mailing list and texting list and I'll notify you when stuff like that happens, along with many other things. And that's still going to be too expensive for some people. That's a lot of money still, $125. It's nothing to shrug at. This is $37, so you can get that similar smell for a fraction of the cost. Again, we're still well under our $50 price point, just nudging it under $40 here with this. And the quality is incredible. It smells a lot higher quality than $37. It really does. So you get a lot of value for your money here. It's a parfum concentration, great performer, very rich, very strong. You can't go wrong with this. Next up, we have Pandora Scents Milano Privee. This one is a clone of the discontinued 1 million Privee, which is an absolutely impeccable release. That stuff is amazing, and discontinued it makes sense, but it's also just very frustrating. It's something where they're putting out a new 1 million every year. You got to free up room somewhere. And also that one, compared to some of their other releases, just isn't really going to be as mass pleasing and just has the same type of appeal to the general public as some of their other ones. So it makes sense that at some point it had to go, but it does suck. And that one got discontinued a long time ago. So just recently we got this clone, and I'm glad that we have it. I would have liked to have seen it sooner, but nonetheless, here it is, and that's great. It has apple and cinnamon, some tobacco in here. It's warm and spicy. It smells like fall. It smells like the season of autumn. Leaves are falling. You've got your hoodie on. It's getting chilly outside. It's a little bit windy. You got apple pies and, pumpkin lattes and everything like that. That's just what this one embodies in a nutshell. It smells incredible, and I'm so glad that we just had the opportunity to get this without having to spend money on 1 million Privee. This is, again, very affordable. It's going to get you a very similar result. Next up, we have Maison Alhambra The Tux, and this one is a clone of YSL Tuxedo. Now, there are many YSL Tuxedo clones. You would think with the amount of clones that it has, that YSL Tuxedo would be like a Dior Sauvage level of popularity or something, but it's not. It's nowhere near that. It's nowhere near as popular as Leighton or Aventus or Sauvage or Dylan Blue, Bleu de Chanel, but yet for some reason YSL Tuxedo is like one of the most cloned fragrances right now. I mean, there are a ton of clones. Like there's more clones of Tuxedo than Leighton, not more than Aventus. I think Aventus probably still takes the cake, but I don't know what it is about that one, but there's a ton of them. This is just one of them. It's the tip of the iceberg, and it's one of my favorites, primarily because the presentation gets you very close. There's also Fragrance World Suits with a similar presentation. I think this presentation is better. As far as scent is concerned, they all get so close, guys. You're kind of splitting hairs. Just take your pick. Whichever one looks the best, whichever one is the most affordable, you can go with. You could also go for something like Rocus Mustache Eau de Parfum or Afnan Tarathi Brown, and there's even more than that. But they're all really good, and they get you very close. This is just the one that I happen to choose. You can't go wrong with it. Next up, we have Fragrance World Jack of Clubs. So these are kind of hard to read. The presentation is just random. The names are not correlating to anything. But when you smell this one, you'll pretty quickly understand what they are cloning. And it's YSL La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique, which I absolutely love. They kind of bring back to life some of that existing older school La Nuit de l'Homme vibes, for lack of a better term. It just kind of has a bit more of the cardamom richness and just kind of is kind of more similar to older style La Nuit. That one, Bleu Electrique, got discontinued in record time. It lasted for less than a year, and then for whatever reason, it was out. I don't know why, very bizarre. I guess it was just a really, really limited run, which, was not expected. But that's just how it is now. And it still pops up from time to time on discounters. I send out a notification every time it comes up. It just, every so often, every month or two, it'll pop up, maybe even more sometimes. But if you don't want to wait around and you don't want to spend that money, you could go for this Jack of Clubs. It's going to get you very close, just at a fraction of the cost, and it's pretty much readily available. Next up, we have Armaf Club de Nuit Untold, and this is going to be a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540. Which is great, and also a very highly cloned fragrance as well. It's very expensive. It's more expensive than YSL Tuxedo and Creed Aventus and Parfums de Marly Leighton and things like that. BR 540 is pricey, and the Extrait is even more crazy. So as far as that's concerned, it makes sense that there are a lot of clones, I guess, but it's still, I guess it's just pretty popular, but I don't know. It's crazy how many clones there are of some of these. You might not expect it, but BR 540 is super unique on its own. That DNA is just odd in a really cool way. I love BR 540, but it is different, and it is not for everybody. You definitely wouldn't want to go out and blind buy that one, but you can blind buy these clones. Now, this one here is a little more expensive. It still is nothing crazy in the grand scheme of things, putting it up against BR 540 itself, but compared to some of these others, this one is a little bit more pricey. I don't know, $50 sometimes, but it does get that DNA down, the transparent woods and that sweetness. It's super unique. It's a great performer, an eau de parfum. You can't go wrong with it. Next up, Fragrance World Supreme L'Homme Extreme Eau de Parfum. Look at that bottle. kind of gives it away. Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme. Now, that one is fantastic. It's not discontinued, and it's not overly expensive, but it still is expensive, relatively speaking, and this is still cheaper. So again, guys, you know, even if it's not $200, even if it's not the most rare thing ever, clones still might make sense. If you can get this for, you know, under 40 bucks and the original or the real deal is 100, there's some savings there. You could buy 2 of these and then Nautica Voyage for the price of one L'Homme Ideal Extreme, you know, so you can really kind of stretch your dollar and cultivate a larger collection and have more variety for less money. For a lot of people, that just makes sense. It doesn't make sense for everybody, but if you're watching a clone video, then you probably understand the value that that brings. And this one, it's very accurate. It's got the plum and the tobacco and the almond, of course. They did a great job of replicating that scent, and the bottle is an added bonus. I love when they do that, even though it might be a little bit sketchy. I don't know what the legality is behind that. Maybe not good. They've, you know, I don't know, but it is cool. This next one's 20 bucks. It's Paris Corner Charuto Tobacco Vanille, and it is a Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille clone. Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford, one of the most popular private blends. I would say probably that one and Tuscan Leather are 2 of the main ones that people typically know. And Tuscan Leather is a fantastic one as well, and there are clones of it. But for this instance here, this one is so shocking. It is so impressive how good this one is. It's rich, it's vanillic, smoky, it kind of smells like a Christmas tree. And so does the original Tobacco Vanille. I don't know why. It's got like this pine needle smell along with the sweetness. It just smells like Christmas time, syrupy, sweet, and sexy. And it just doesn't smell like it's 20 bucks. That's the thing that gets me. If this was $50, $60, $70, it would still be great, but at this price point, it feels like you're stealing the stuff at the price that you pay for this. Such a little amount gets you such an impressive scent. I can't recommend this enough. It's out of season right now if you're heading into summer like we are, but grab a bottle and stash it away for fall and winter time. You guys are going to wear through this stuff like crazy. It's addicting, and I have to pull myself away from this stuff in the winter time. I wear it more than my actual Tobacco Vanille. We could also go for something like Lattafa Asad, which is a Dior Sauvage Elixir clone. What I believe to be is the first Sauvage Elixir clone. It didn't take them long at all. I mean, really, it was out pretty quick. And when it first came out, it was 20 bucks. Even now, it's still $20. So it didn't start off expensive and then go down. It didn't start off cheap and then get inflated because of the hype. It would just sell out, but then it would come back for the same price. It's stabilized now. I think I've seen it for as low as $17, but we'll just call it 20 because to play it safe. My gosh, it is still just such an amazing value for that price. And it is so unbelievably accurate. I mean, putting it up against Sauvage Elixir, it is just insane. You go out and you spend $150 or whatever it is at discounters on Sauvage Elixir, 140, somewhere around in there. And then you go out and you spend $20 on this. You kind of start to feel some sort of way because they're that close and the quality is that good for this price. At this point, there are other Sauvage Elixir clones. That's great. That's going to happen. I still think Lattafa Asad is the best one you can get. For the price, for the quality, for the accuracy, it's a no-brainer to me. And even if you have Sauvage Elixir, pick up a bottle of this for 20 bucks. You can wear this every single day and just end up saving money in the long run. If you wanted this to be your signature scent, but you didn't want to spend that much on actual Sauvage Elixir, save that one for more special occasions. Use this as your everyday beater. Just save money. This next one is one of my favorite new clones ever. It's Pandora Scents Amorist. This is absolutely remarkable. Okay, it's a Bulgari Aqua Amara clone. Aqua Amara is another discontinued one. Got hyped up and it's gone. Okay, still thought about, still loved by many, but expensive. And this one gets it down so good. It has the orange, it has the seaweed, it has the sea notes. It's like this bitter orange rind with this aquatic saltiness underneath and the seaweed. It smells very oceanic. There is nothing like this DNA. You know, obviously Amara started it. This is a clone, but it's insane. I mean, there's nothing else out there like this one. It's a very original DNA. And given the fact that Aqua Amara is discontinued, people aren't going to be wearing it hardly at all. So if you want to stand out this summertime, pick up a bottle of this. You are going to just stand out like crazy. It's going to be insane. Proud of You Absolute by Fragrance World is, no surprise here, an Armani Stronger With You Absolutely clone. So it's a parfum, not this, but absolutely is a parfum. Okay, it's kind of the parfum kind of flanker there, EDT, EDP, and then parfum. It's going to be the more richer one compared to the others, and it's going to have the boozy notes and everything like that. This one is doing the same thing, although coming in at an eau de parfum. It still has good performance though, and it really can hold its own. And at the price point that it comes in at, it's a no-brainer. Super competitive. Stronger With You Absolutely is anywhere from 125 to a little over 150 bucks. It's kind of a wide range. It just depends. But this one, again, your typical going rate of under 40. It's a great way to get into that DNA for less. For me, Armani Stronger With You Absolutely is the best and my favorite of the lineup, and I love that we have a clone of it. Last up for this video, we have Alhambra Detour Noir. It's a PDM latent clone. I love latent. It smells great. It's expensive. If you don't want to spend that much money, get Detour Noir. It's going to get you such a similar result. This one is as low as 20 bucks. I think I've seen it dip under 20 a little bit for testers. Not 100% sure on the cap situation for testers. So I don't know there. But even if you're not getting a tester and you're spending a few extra bucks for full presentation, it's still in that $20 range. It's insane what you get for this price. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. I will link all of these clones down below. They are incredible, they're unbelievable, and they will get you so close to what it is that they're trying to clone. You're going to save so much money. You'll also save money by joining my mailing list and texting list at the link and number down below. Again, new releases, rare things, anything that comes into stock, you're going to hear from me first, and you're going to be able to grab it before it sells out. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.